Today we're talking about the changes in 3D printing, and above all we're going to take a look on how 3D printing will develop in the future. We will start with the hobby sector, and then we will take a look on how big companies use 3D printing in real world applications. We will start with the private sector, so what will change for the hobbyist, and here it's very clear. 3D printing will become massively easier. In the past 3D printing wasn't really accessible for everyone. You had to really get into the subject to get a decent print. I started back then with the Elegoo Neptune 2S, and I can tell you it took a really long time till I finally had a good print. But when the company Bambu Lab releases the X1C in 2022, a few things changed. You could say that caused a revolution in 3D printing. You can think about Bambu Lab what you want. We won't get into this topic today, but they shaped 3D printing massively. And I believe without Bambu Lab, you won't have these 200 to 300 euro printers that have a camera, auto bed leveling, and so many great features. Now we've looked at the past and at the present, but this video is about the future. I believe 3D printing will become even more easier over the next years. On top of that, the design will change too. In the past, we had extremely technical machines that belong in a workshop. Today, 3D printers looks pretty sleek, but there's more to come. I like the comparison to the Thermomix, a kind of Thermomix 3D printer, meaning super easy to operate, no technical experience needed, and even your mom can use this thing. I also believe that AI will make things super interesting, like we will get super good AI error detection. AI slicers are also something I can see in the future. There's already the Just Print project from Ovico. Simply put, you have a ChatGPT in your slicer integrated. It's still very much in development, but as soon as companies like Prusa and Bambu Lab get behind it, things will change quite a bit. I could imagine this. You tell your slicer, here is a watering can, this thing needs to be waterproof, I want a wonderful optic, and your slicer now adapts every setting and your print looks really good and is waterproof. Speaking of AI, we can already create quite a lot of 3D models with it. For example, I've tested Mesh AI extensively and presented it many times. If you want to generate figures or similar things, it's incredible. The only current disadvantage that it still doesn't work for useful dimensionally accurate parts, but I'm sure that this will change in the future too, meaning you won't have to learn Fusion 360 or other 3D model programs to create your own models. Besides, 3D printing could strengthen the repair culture, or rather it already is, especially when companies realizes that more people have a 3D printing at home. They could sell the spare parts as STLs, meaning if something on your vacuum cleaner is broken, you could just buy the STL and fix the vacuum yourself. Miele, for example, has already uploaded a few 3D prints for their products, and I really like the idea of it. I also believe that filaments will change and adapt. The 3D printed look is cool, but sometimes it looks a little bit cheap. That's why I could imagine that particle and CF filaments will become more popular. I have to say, when I print something for myself, like a desk organizer, for example, I always use this particle filament. Like this here is Prusa Galaxy Black, and I love it because it looks so good and not really 3D printed. Another important advancement will be that multi-material keeps getting better. The Snapmaker U1 changed some things here. Snapmaker supported this video. The U1 is exactly that. A multi-material system that truly works efficiently. You get 4 print heads that the printer can switch quickly. This allows you to print very fast with 4 different colors or materials. It's also not a tinkering project, but a very high efficiency printer that really looks premium. With an upgrade kit, you can also print more complex materials, so it's 100% flexible. I just find the ability to print with different materials simultaneously super interesting. For example, you can print supports with water suitable filaments and then just put it in water. Feel free to check out the first link in the description. Now let's look at the industry. because what's happening there is extremely exciting and shows how powerful 3D printing really is. Imagine a bus driving somewhere in Europe. A plastic part breaks. Small part, but without it, it doesn't run. You would normally order a spare part and the warehouse is somewhere around the world. But Daimler buses and 3D systems have been testing a completely different system since 2025. Daimler has classified around 40,000 spare parts as fundamentally 3D printable. Thousands of them are already being progressively digitized. The goal behind all of this: spare parts no longer have to be shipped around the world for weeks. Instead, they can be manufactured directly on site. According to Daimler, delivery times could be reduced by 75%. And that's exactly the idea of the micro factory. No huge warehouse full of spare parts. No global supply chain for every product. Instead, we have a local production, on-demand manufacturing, meaning the part will only be produced if it's needed. This is no longer a futuristic concept. It's happening right now and it will completely change the logistic forever. Medicine is for me perhaps one of the most important areas in 3D printing, because something is happening here that used to be extremely complex, expensive, or barely economically viable. True individualization. Let's start with dental technology. Every jaw is different. Every prosthetic needs to fit. In the past, that meant plaster cast, manual adjustments, long production time. Today, we have a better solution. You can scan the jaw, generate an STL file and then print the whole thing. Stratasys introduced the Dental Jet XL. According to Stratasys, certain workflows can massively reduce labor and significantly lower cost per part. According to the website, by 67%. But who knows if those things on the website are really accurate. Before we continue, quick disclaimer. I researched many sources and industry reports for this. If anything turns out to be incorrect, please correct me in the comments. So back to the topic. This now leads to individualized products are now scalable. And that's exactly why this market is exploding right now. According to market analysis, 3D printed hip and knee implants could become a multi-billion-dollar market over the next 10 years. Why? Because standard sizes in medicine often only roughly fit. 3D printing enables implants that can be adapted much more precisely to the patient's actual body. And that's the difference, not mass production but individual medicine at scale. Then there's aerospace, where every gram counts. Less weight means less fuel compensation, less fuel that it's needed. And that's exactly why this industry relies so heavily on 3D printing. In the new GE and Safran LEAP engines, which are used in the Boeing 737 MAX and the Airbus A320neo, there are already many 3D printed parts. The most well-known example, the fuel nozzle. It used to consist of around 20 individual components. Today it's printed as a single part. And the crazy thing, this is no longer a small test production. It's really used in real-world applications. GE is now producing hundreds of these parts per week. But after all of this, 3D printing isn't a magical mass production monster. Here we need to talk about one thing. If you need a billion identical bottle caps, no printer comes close to this. Injection molding always wins when it comes to mass production. 3D printing wins at individualization, local production without a warehousing, and for prototyping. So the conclusion of all of this: 3D printing is here and it could be here. So 3D printing is currently just getting started. There is so much potential out there. And I think in the next 10 years, many sectors will benefit extremely from 3D printing. If you enjoyed this video, please follow this channel.